In these last 12 weeks of my life, I went about a little mission, a little experiment to see how much can a person change their life in 12 weeks. So it's been 12 weeks. I'm sure you're wondering, how did things go? What are the results? I will tell you in a second, but before I get into that, I do just want to briefly tell you the breakdown, tell you the framework of how I applied the 12-week year method. Hey everyone, I am so sorry to rudely interrupt myself, but I just wanted to pop on here real quick as present day me and give you a little update and a little bit of context for the video you're about to watch, because as I'm recording this clip, it is July 2025, and the video that you're watching was recorded at the end of March / beginning of April 2025, and it's referencing January, February, March of 2025. And so yeah, this video is quite outdated. But regardless, I still wanted to post it because there's still a lot of reflections in this that still hold true to me. And in general, this whole 12-week year thing that I did was super, super impactful for me. And it allowed me to be the most consistent version of myself that I have ever seen. And it was the strongest start I had to a year ever. And so even though it is currently Q3, like we are in Q3 of the year, and this whole video happened like in the first quarter of the year, despite that, I still wanted to share it. And I've also spent a lot of hours already editing this video, and I'm having fun editing it, so I didn't want to just toss it, you know? Also, just to briefly explain, long story short, the reason that I'm posting this so late is essentially what happened is this first 12-week year thing was great. It was by no means perfect, but overall, I genuinely found it really, really helpful. And my plan was, okay, this went really well. Let me give myself a week-long break, and then we'll hop right back into it. And for Q2, I'm going to do another 12-week year. That was my plan. And what happened instead? I accidentally took a 3-month break from it. And so that is why this is being posted in July. I will have you know though, I'm back on my game. It's the beginning of July as I'm recording this, like I said, and I have officially started a new 12-week year. I'm in week 1 right now. And so my plan for the rest of the year is that quarters 3 and 4, I will actually implement this 12-week year thing again and not allow what happened in Q2 to happen again. So, yeah, I'm planning on also doing another kind of 12-week year series thing, but like a more chilled out, less rigid version of the initial 12-week year thing, I guess. I kind of just want this new series to be more so just like vlog type stuff. And so, yeah, I just wanted to pop on here and explain all of that. So if you hear me say anything in this video that doesn't make sense, or if anything I'm saying in this video is clearly like old news, that is why. But last thing, before we get into the video, shameless plug real quick. I do mention in this video the Notion template that I used in the first quarter of this year, but I also actually created my own Notion template and I customized it to be exactly how I would want it to be to make the most sense for my brain. And I've not been diagnosed with ADHD, but I have a lot of the symptoms, and all I'm saying is for my brain, the way I've structured this Notion template really, really helps me, and it allows me to prioritize and allows me to, you know, get those dopamine hits of checking tasks off and feeling proud of myself, but also allows me to, you know, have discipline still and have prioritization and have structure throughout my days. And there's journaling prompts, a habit tracker, weekly reflections, all of that fun stuff. So if you do want to check that out, I will have that linked down below. It's on my Etsy shop. You guys can also get a special discount. I'm going to leave a code on the screen. I don't know what the code is going to be yet, so this is what it is. I'm gonna make it up later. But yeah, you guys can get a discount on that Notion template if you are interested. That's the exact template that I have created and that I'm gonna be using, or that I am already using in the third quarter of the year in this new 12-week year thing. So if you're curious, definitely feel free to check that out. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble. Thank you for listening to these disclaimers. I'm gonna stop talking and let you actually watch the video that you clicked on. So thank you for listening to me ramble. The whole idea behind the 12-week year and the slogan they use is to achieve more in 12 weeks than most people achieve in 12 months. And what really differentiates this method from other goal-setting methods is, first of all, of course, the timeline being 12 weeks instead of 12 months. 12 weeks to me feels like a long enough period of time to be able to change your life in a substantial way, but at the same time, not such a long period of time where it begins to feel overwhelming. Second of all, the 12-week year method really encourages you to hone in on focus on just a few aspects of your life instead of every single aspect of your life. And if you think about it in this way, for example, if you're focusing on 3 areas of your life at a time, it's a pretty even, like 33% split that you can give to all these areas of your life. Whereas if you're trying to focus on literally everything at once, you're giving maybe like 5% to each aspect of your life. Obviously, if you're giving 33% towards an aspect of your life versus 5%, you're going to see more progress in that area of your life when you're providing the 33%. You create a lot more momentum and a lot more progress, and actually realistically get yourself towards your goals a lot faster versus the traditional method of setting all your goals on January 1st, getting super excited about it, ultimately getting overwhelmed by it, becoming paralyzed because of the overwhelm, and long story short, not actually achieving any of your goals. I took from my 12 annual goals 3 goals that I would focus on first in the first quarter in these first 12 weeks. Those 3 goals were foundational consistency. This referred to everything from my video editing business, my YouTube channel, digital products, Etsy, etc., etc. Essentially anything that I want to build as a stream of income for myself, for my business. Number 2, frugal spending and saving. I feel like that one is pretty self-explanatory, and so I'm not going to explain it. And lastly was lower cortisol. So this was everything from lifting weights 4 times a week to eating well to making my bed in the morning. Essentially anything encompassing my mental, physical, or spiritual health. I then took each one of these goals and I broke them down into habits. And so what this entailed was taking each of my 3 goals and brainstorming, okay, what habits do I have to do on a daily or weekly basis in order to achieve this goal by the end of these 3 months. So the way I've been tracking my progress and everything is through Notion. I've been using the same template throughout the whole 12-week year, and it has been so helpful. And so I will link that down below if you are curious. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to that because that has quite literally been the tool that has been keeping me on track with this 12-week year thing. If you are curious more so about the behind the scenes and the details and everything, I did document weeks 1, 3, 6, 9, and 12 on my channel. So I will link that down below and up here as well if you do want to check that out. But if not, that's okay too. First of all, foundational consistency. So I was stuck at 500 subscribers for a very long time. Like throughout 2023 and 2024 mainly, I was like stuck at 500 subscribers. Not surprisingly, you know, considering I only posted like 10 videos in each of those years. But at the beginning of 2025, I actually pretty quickly hit 1K. It's a small number, but it was a big number for me. And I'm really excited about it. I'm proud of myself for it. My annual goal for YouTube is to hit 10K subscribers. It's starting to feel a lot more real and honestly very reasonable and realistic that I can be at 10K subscribers or more before the end of this year. And so that is also just a huge thing, the fact that that feels like a realistic goal. I did mention that under this goal also includes my video editing business. So we do have kind of a bittersweet outcome with this one. I do still have one very stable, consistent, reliable client, and I'm still doing videos for them. The bitter part is that I had quite a few opportunities pop up, but every time I followed through with these opportunities, it would fall through in one way or another. I've done sample videos for people. They told me they love it. They say they want to move forward, and then I hear nothing back from them. I truly do believe that everything happens for a reason, and as a result of my video editing business not necessarily being as successful as I had hoped it would be at the beginning of this year, it's forced me to kind of pursue other avenues of my business a little bit more. So I decided, you know what, I don't have any new clients anyways, I may as well see if I can pursue YouTube a little bit more and see if I can make any money from that. I figured, you know what, I'm gonna put together a media kit, I'm gonna pitch myself to some brands, see if I can land any brand deals. And you know what, I did, not only 1, but 2. I made my first actual like paycheck from a brand. That is huge. It's one thing to, you know, get sent a product, review it for a brand, you know, it's wonderful as well, but to actually be paid for the services that I did as a content creator is so cool to me, and I'm so proud of myself for that because I know the only reason I got here is because I decided to take it more seriously. I decided to take my content creation more seriously. All right, next we have Etsy, and ultimately I think I only set myself a goal of like 24 products on my Etsy store this year. I posted a Notion template for the new year, for a new year reset, reflect, manifest thing, and I got quite a few sales, and that was really exciting. And then I also posted 2 versions of the same chakra alignment print, and so even though I've only done 3 so far this year, it is still progress. I do want to do more Notion templates because I found that really fun and it actually did well on my Etsy. I honestly, encompassing this whole goal, this whole foundational consistency goal, even though it wasn't 100% by any means, and even though there were some, you know, quote unquote failures, I don't believe anything is a failure because you always learn something new, or if a door closes, different doors open, you know, all of that cliche stuff. I do believe that. So even though I didn't reach 100%, that is not really what matters. I still can objectively list so many accomplishments that I'm so proud of myself for. in these 3 months. Next, we have frugal spending and saving. At the beginning of this 12-week year, I definitely still struggled with like impulse spending. If I was feeling emotional, whatever, and I was out and about, I might buy something I don't need, or I would spend obscene amounts of money on Uber Eats. It's not like I was dropping hundreds of dollars, but it does add up. Buying lattes, buying Uber Eats. It was always just like silly stuff like that, or like going thrift shopping. At the beginning of this 12-week year, I was spending money kind of willy-nilly doing stuff like that, not realizing that I didn't have that money to be spending. And so in not having super consistent income with my video editing, and also not having how much money I normally make with my part-time job coming in because I was sick for a while, because of all of that, I was kind of forced to stop that impulse spending. Like, I quite literally had no option. Obviously, half of that goal is the saving aspect, and when I barely have enough money to be paying my bills, I don't really have extra money to be saving as much money as I want to be saving. My issue is no longer spending. I honestly don't spend money on anything except for like groceries these days and bills. Like, that is literally it. In my next 12-week year series, I'm going to be focusing more so on the generating streams of income part. That is the frugal spending and saving goal. Lastly, we have the lower cortisol goal. Like I said, this encompasses everything from my physical health, mental health, spiritual health. So let's start with physical health. I do have a scale. I have just been too lazy to change the batteries in it. But I do have a scale that reads like bone density, muscle mass, water retention, fat percentage, all of that. And so I do want to do that for this next 12-week year so I can actually give you accurate data when it comes to my fitness journey. I don't have that this time, unfortunately, but I can tell you from my subjective perspective, I feel so much stronger. And more than that, when it comes to the weight I'm pushing and the exercises I'm able to do, how long I'm able to hold a plank, how long I'm able to hold I don't know what it's called, but a certain calisthenics thing I've been doing, all of that stuff, the amount of push-ups I'm able to do. When it comes to all of this stuff, I'm just objectively becoming a lot more strong. And that is really sick. That is really cool. This is the strongest, most flexible, most in tune with my body that I have felt in a really long time. And it's a pretty awesome feeling. Just to give you a little idea of how much my weight has increased in certain exercises. I'm not going to share every single number just because there's a lot here, but I've been tracking my weights throughout the last 3 months. One that is really exciting is that doing barbell squats, I started out just squatting the bar, and that was already enough for me. I don't know exactly how much the bar weighs because it is not written anywhere, and I asked people in the gym and nobody seems to truly know, but the consensus is that it's probably somewhere around 40 pounds. So I started squatting just 40 pounds. And at this point, I have regularly been putting 2 10-pound plates on either side, sometimes even adding 5 pounds on either side on that. So I have gone up 40 pounds. I went from squatting 40 pounds, hypothetically, to 80 pounds, hypothetically. So I doubled that. So even though I'm not squatting body weight or anything yet, that is huge progress. I am objectively getting a lot stronger, and that's honestly the most important thing to me. A lot of the habits I put under this goal, I already had integrated into my life on at least like a weekly basis, but I was not doing these things on a daily basis or like multiple times a week. And the intention with this goal was really just to make those things be more consistent, integrated parts of my life, like stuff like meditating, going to bed at a decent hour, working out, journaling, like all of these little daily habits. I was doing them sometimes, but I really wanted to turn it into more of a thing that is just like part of my being, that it starts to feel weird if I don't do these habits. And I can say with confidence, I'm at that point. Like, if I go more than 2 days not going to the gym, I start feeling very wrong about it. And I feel the need and craving to go to the gym. Once it starts hitting 10 p.m., like actually as I'm recording this, it's almost 10 p.m. and I'm really starting to realize, okay, I need to film this video and immediately wind down for bed. We were starting from going to bed at like 3, 4 in the morning. I was consistently like staying up editing videos and just torturing myself in order to be productive. Obviously regret it the next day. Like, that was me 3 months ago. Me now is very much not that. And that speaks volumes to me. The fact that I'm willing to go to bed at a very normal human hour and not having resistance to that is probably normal for many people, but is a very big accomplishment for me. Like, starting this 12-week year out, I would regularly sleep in past noon. I was essentially nocturnal, and now like the latest I wake up is like 10:30. Like, I feel weird waking up at 10:30 because I am now waking up at normal human hours. Like, it would actually be hard for me to sleep in past noon, whereas before it was so easy for me and alarmingly hard for me to get out of bed, actually. And so the fact that it's hard for me to sleep past like 10:30, dude, that may be normal for many people, but for me, that is a huge accomplishment. It's hard to summarize this goal, honestly, because it was so all-encompassing. But I will say there are a lot of like micro habits, like doing an apple cider vinegar shot in the mornings, taking my supplements, doing my skincare, making my bed in the mornings, tidying up at least a little bit every day. Like, these seemingly very small things have added up in my life in the last 3 months to actually make a very big, huge impact. And it now feels weird to me if I don't do those habits on a daily basis. I also don't crave like unhealthy food anymore. I have struggled with food as a coping mechanism when it comes to any negative emotion. Pretty much I would often use food as a way to cope, and that would sometimes lead me to binging anything bad for me pretty much, and my mind and body would just crave that to, I don't know, fill whatever void I was feeling, or to help me not feel as stressed, or just to like entertain me. At the start of this year, my body was craving that stuff, and I had to actively resist myself from eating that stuff. But now I don't even crave it at all. Like, I just simply don't want it. Also, when it comes to my mental health, I have been not perfect, don't get me wrong, but in general, I have been more consistent with journaling, meditating, affirmations, all of that stuff. And as a result of that, I feel like it's allowed me to get into better touch with myself. I've had a lot of really profound, like, brain chemistry altering realizations through meditations I've done in these last few months. Just practicing affirmations and gratitude has made me feel like a more confident, fulfilled version of myself. I think in doing all these little habits, in building trust with myself, in developing a stronger relationship with myself, I've also, hand in hand with that, developed a much stronger relationship with my spirituality, whatever you want to call it. I just feel supported. I feel so divinely guided. I feel so connected. I feel so certain that everything is working out for me. And that is just a great place to be in. And so as a whole, physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health has 100,000,000% transformed and changed for the better. Although this goal was named lower cortisol, I actually don't have blood tests to really document how my cortisol has been impacted in the last 3 months, but I did do a blood test in the middle of this whole thing, and my cortisol was significantly lower than it has been historically in my life. I've struggled with a historically very high cortisol. I feel so different. Like, I have such a stronger relationship with myself. I have so much more trust in myself. Like, I used to lean so much towards self-sabotaging. Not to overshare, but I am about to overshare. I have struggled with depression like since I was a teenager, and it has been a huge part of my life since then, like forever. It is a part of my life. I'm now on medication for it, and I have a lot of tools in my toolbox to help me with it. I haven't experienced growth like this or distancing from my depression as dramatic as this until this 12-week year. Compared to the beginning of this year until now, like, dude, I haven't fallen into a rut like that in weeks. And I know that may not be a huge deal to many people who don't struggle with depression. It's not necessarily the 12-week year framework itself. It's more so these notions of taking pressure off of yourself, being realistic with yourself, being kind to yourself. Dude, it's crazy. I used to associate discipline with pretty much being authoritarian towards yourself. Now I see it as self-love. Like, I'm building that trust and love with myself where, you know, I want to go to the gym because I know it's going to make me feel good. It's not something that I'm doing because I have to do it. I'm doing it because I know I decided to do that because I want to feel good ultimately. You know, I really feel like the why behind your goals and habits is also super important. But yeah, I did not expect to have this turn into a rambly video, but it wouldn't be one of my videos if it wasn't a rambly video. So that's my tangent for you guys. I hope that maybe somebody needed to hear that, and I'm really excited for this new 12-week year. This first 12-week year was great. It taught me a lot. Honestly, I feel like it was mainly a period of learning, and I have grown so much from that, and I'm taking all that knowledge, I'm bringing it with me into the next 12-week year. I want this series to be inspiring and motivating for you guys, and I want this to be a community where we all encourage each other to believe that our wildest dreams are possible, and to know that if we decide to make it happen, we can make it happen. With all that being said, if you do want to be a part of this community, definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video, of course, it really helps the channel. And leave a comment down below. What are 3 things you're going to be focusing on in these next 12 weeks? And that is everything. Thank you so much for being here. I am so excited for these next 12 weeks. I'm so excited that you're here. It is literally 10:40 p.m. I have been talking for 2 hours, okay? I'm gonna go to sleep. I hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!